charged for this call. This call is from
Pat Hoffman.
an inmate at Airway Heights Correction Center. This call will be recorded and monitored. If you wish to block any future calls of this nature, dial 7 now. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this call, hang up. Thank you.
Morning. Blessings to all of you.
Hey, blessings, peace and blessings to you, Mr. Hoffman. I saw that you had called over the weekend, but at the time you called, I was on the phone with another prisoner.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to touch base with you is all.
Okay.
I gave your website address and it's going to include your phone number to another individual that wants to hook up with you about my website and have his people on Facebook connect with that. So I will do that when it's kind of a problem here getting information like that to another individual in another unit. It's seems like everything that we try to do here that's honest and reputable, they want to act like it's some kind of illegal act in here all the time.
Right.
I'm really at a point to where I'm doing all I can to avoid any problems, but if I have problems with them, again, I'm going to have to request to be moved back to Walla Walla because I don't like Walla Walla, but I don't like this place a whole lot more. So I'm trying to avoid getting in one of those bloody battle confrontations that they're trying to inflict on people here. These people are idiots.
Yeah, I understand.
They don't have any sense. They don't have any sense to them at all. They are some kind of reject that thinks that whatever falls out of their mouth is a golden rule that everybody has to follow. And I don't work that way. That goes against every fiber in me goes against nature because I have rules that keep me in tow and keep me in check, and following those rules, I don't get into any problems or any beefs with anyone. But yet that's not good enough for them. They've got to try stop and stand for a search. Why are they putting their hands on me?
Yeah.
You know?
I think that
at home.
Yep.
In my time at home, having a police officer or anyone put their hands on another human being that way, that was grounds for battle.
Yep. Yeah, I understand.
Because you don't disrespect your fellow being that way, and they do it all the time here. It's been an ongoing thing with me all the way along. Every time they've searched me, there's not been a problem other than when they plant something and say, "What is this?" You have no idea, but you go to the hole because they put something in your pocket while pat searching you. I've had this happen on at least 3 occasions now in 3 different institutions. So anyway, be that as it may, I wanted to thank you for your assistance. I wanted to tell you that my wife, Agnes, is here for visit, and she got the sacred items given to her Saturday evening. The preacher, Chaplain Lucci, was here, and he brought the stuff out to her so that she has it now. The problem with where she's at now at All Seasons Motel, it is a very low standard motel, and it doesn't have the type of locks on the door or things like that I feel she should have to protect her. There's been lots of crime in the area that she's been in, that she is in with this motel. And there's lots of noise going on in other people's motels next to her. So trying to get her with a friend who is actually a friend of the family. I knew the gal that she's with, I knew her mother in high school. And it would be a great assistance for her and Agnes to get together. And we're working on the things as usual to get me free. So we're pushing on that. And I just wanted to touch base with you and let you know that I appreciate all that you do. I don't know when Agnes will get to contact you and get that thing.
I'm glad to hear that she will be visiting you, and I hope y'all have a good visit. And in regards to how you're mistreated in prison, I think they hire people of a certain mentality and low IQ that are, follow orders. Yes. They just follow orders no matter what, and so they purposely hire people. Yeah.
And it's all constant and ongoing harassment by people that have low esteem, and they don't have any respect for anyone until somebody drags them on the carpet, and then it's everybody has to pay for it. It's the same thing that happened with Bindle. One, they shouldn't have had Sheriff in the population that he was in, so that he could get to where he could do what he did with Bindle. I was told by the other officers and stuff when I asked about her that she had not been violated by Sheriff other than him choking her out with the microphone cord.
Yeah.
And that became the thing there. But there was negligence involved with the officers that were supposed to be supporting her and backing her up. I told you this before, that they were in the public access building, which is next door to the chapel, and they were watching porno videos on Tony Weeks' computer, and they were caught up with it because it was logged in. I mean, they had to log in and do that, and there was time spent on the computer that wasn't accounted for, and they were the only ones that had access to it. And when they found Mr. Sheriff, he was around against the wall of past. You have to go past the chapel to go past the public access building to get to the outer wall area. And to get to the outer wall area is very difficult because there's a chain link fence there.
What was the man's name who murdered her? Do you remember his name?
His last name is Sheriff. I don't recall the first name. I don't know if it's Tony or something like that. I can't recall. You sent me the paperwork that you pulled off there, and I sent it immediately to Agnes because this is part of an ongoing thing with me. When my lawsuit went to mediation at Thurston County Superior Court, they were told, or they agreed to leave me at Monroe as long as I didn't have any write-ups or any problems with the staff. Well, I had no problems in the 8.5 years, not even a write-up that was had any validity to it. Yet they moved me out because they used Bindle's problem through the FBI coming there, and the FBI telling them that all of these lifers should be moved to another area. Why? I don't know. But they busted the thing out, and I don't know where Sheriff is at other than hearing that he's somewhere with Gary Ridgway.
Well, I see articles on the internet where he got sentenced to death, so he got the death penalty, but I don't think they've executed him yet, and I can't seem to find him in the Washington Department of Corrections.
Well,
I don't know what his number is. You know, you got to be able to look up someone in the Department of Corrections. You have to know their number.
Yeah. And what I know is this, that I heard from another inmate in here that both Ridgway and that one were at the North IMU at Walla Walla. So I don't know if it's valid. I don't have any way to check on it, but that's information that you might be able to check in that manner.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know his number. His number should have been on that material that you sent me. So
maybe
if it wasn't, then they didn't. They deleted it or something. So there's no way to check. I don't have his first name, so that
I think it's
rules that
Byron.
out.
I just found it's Byron.
Yeah.
Byron Scherf. Yeah.
Byron. That sounds right. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, be that as it may, he probably won't be executed because they distorted the execution law with Gary Ridgway. They overrode the prosecution that had Ridgway. They overrode it in order to gain access to bodies that he had buried along the Green River area that they had not discovered. And he pointed that out to them and is probably still withholding some information on some bodies that in order to keep from being executed. So they've distorted and perverted that law enough that it will probably take another legislation act in order to inaugurate it again. Even with Scherf, now there's a rule that binds, like for me also, that there's equal protection under the law. So if they give Gary Ridgway protection, they also must give Byron protection.
Yeah.
They can't execute. And see, this goes back now to Yvonne Wanro's case where they tried to convict her for killing a man who was trying to break into her apartment and hurt her and her children. It finally got through the litigation that she would have to do a parole sentence for, I don't know, 5 or 7 years or something like that. Anyway, it's Yvonne Swan Wanro. It's a state citing case that allows women to protect themselves in incidents like that. It's called, I think it's called the battered woman rule or something like that in court. But in that also goes to protect me because I was protecting my family from a violent attack by law officers, claimed law officers, when I was protecting my father in the shootout.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be another point that I add to that when and if I get an attorney. Now, something that you may or may not want to check on. My wife Agnes said that her brother in Holland was telling her about a corporation or conglomerate or something like that by the name of Crow that was able to give different people amounts of money for things like this, for needed attorneys or investment or something like that, and she's checking into that now. I don't know if there's any validity to it or not, but it would sure be a godsend if it was something that we could acquire and pay back, because I don't care for the handout situation, but I do promise that if for every dollar that's spent on getting me free, 2 will come back to those people.
I understand. You said their name was CROW. It's an organization, CROW?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it, and I've never heard anything about it, but I'm seeing that it's possible that it can be looked up on the World Wide Web. So I don't know where it's seated at, where the home offices to it are, or anything like that. But Agnes has some of her friends that know quite a bit about computer now, are looking at it now to see what the possibilities are, and we'll see from there.
I'm sorry. So what I've noticed, a lot of the other state prisons allow me to look up prisoners by name. So I can type in their name, and it shows me their number and their mailing address. But Washington doesn't allow me to search on name. I have to have the number first, and if I don't have the number, I simply can't find the prisoner. So have you ever heard that before? Is that a surprise to you, or?
Well, it's coming to that. They're moving all the time to separate all the prisoners that they have under their influence away from society, to the point that they have absolutely no connection. They want to spout that they're about having inmates have their visitors and having good visits and this and that, but at every turn they try to make it impossible to have those visits, even to the point to where Agnes and I were visiting yesterday afternoon, and a little Asian guard that didn't speak very well English come up to me when I asked to use the bathroom and said, "Are you hard of hearing?" And I said, "No, not too much. I've driven cat, and I can't hear too well in some instances, but I hear well enough to converse." Why? He says, "Do you know about public space or personal space? You come and talk to me, and you invade my personal space." And I stepped back and I told him very loudly then, "Well, I'm sorry about that, mister, but you are a small person, and I don't want to have any conflict with anybody thinking that I'm talking about them or anybody else in this environment, and I do so to attract your attention only. If that's a problem for you, I'm sorry." And we went around and around on this four different times in 4 different ways until he got the message that I've had enough of you. Leave me alone.
Yeah. I think it's amazing that these types of people, it seems like they enjoy the control they have over other human beings. I want to also say that the point you made about they're separating the prisoners from the rest of society, that's so true. Because if I can't even look up your name,
if I can't 60 seconds remaining.
If I can't even look up your name, I can't find anything about you. And if I don't know your number, I'll never be able to find any information about you. So they are trying to separate prisoners from society, no doubt about it.
Yes, and that's the number and the name are public access. You can get that through a public access information act, but it takes a little time. And that's what they're trying to do with everything, is cause
you have 30 seconds remaining.
Have to waste valuable time. So be advised. I don't know anything to do about it other than maybe we have to have a public lawsuit and have that information made available to the public on all levels.
Our prayers are with you. Our prayers are with you, and the Lord said He would never leave you nor forsake you. I know He's got a plan for your life, Patrick, and our prayers are with you.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.